Howdy-ho, everyone! Lost Leader here, and we're back in action for more Wishlist Attraction. That's right, we're talking about all the things that I want for Smash on the Switch. Woo-hoo-hoo! Let's get started, y'all. Break the targets! Where is my break the targets? Don't show me that crap that Brawl gave us. Don't show me the thing that Smash 4 gave us. No, those are garbo. Full garbage of what we got there. No thank you. What I want, what I need back, honestly, is the break the targets where each character has his own little customizable little like stage thing. It was just so cool, and it was designed for everybody. You just had to figure it out yourself. It was this own little puzzle slash trial that didn't feel like an actual trial, like Street Fighter 4 does, or Street Fighter 5 has, or Blaze Blue or anything like that. It was just like, learn the basics of your character, learn how they work, and you got it going on. I love Break the Targets, and the fact that they haven't done a personal Break the Targets for every individual character since Melee really hurts me. But what hurts me more than that, board the platforms. Where's my board the platforms? Where is it? I want my board the platforms. It was such a cool addition in 64. Something that I didn't know that I wanted to do, but just go on a bunch of platforms with each individual character. It was so fun. It had the same thing, the same basic premise of break the targets, and yet it didn't. It was slightly different to just a reasonable degree, and it helps you get used to your characters. It's like going into training mode without actually going into training mode. You feel me? It's fun to have those kind of things go that way. It's a different sort of training, and it gives a different sort of puzzly feature that Break the Targets and Board the Platforms did, and we never saw it in 64, and it just hurts me so much that it hasn't happened since. I don't like what they did to arcade mode for Smash 4. It turned into this obscenely stupid way to go about things, and you always had two stocks, and that was just like the worst thing to me. I know it doesn't sound like it's like a super bad idea to have two stocks for every individual match and whatnot, but for someone like me, I don't have a lot of consistency in my playthroughs and whatnot. It just doesn't work out too well for me. So having the ability to go from one stock to five stock really helps my game. It really helps me just think, okay, cool. I know I have this many lives. I don't want to waste these lives on this person, but I can waste it here. Or I could waste them all on the final boss, and then I'll be fine in that particular set. And just like, okay, cool, we'll do it. But because the way that Smash 4 did its own little thing with the two stock, legitimately enough, I decided just not to play the arcade mode, because unless I was really good with certain characters, it just wouldn't happen. I would not be able to do it. It just takes too much time for someone that wants to dedicate themselves to the game but doesn't have the actual motive to dedicate for the game. That just makes me go, I don't care. If you're gonna make me go two stock with every individual arcade thing, I don't care. I'm not doing it. And I really hope that they change that up for arcade. And on top of that, arcade for Smash 4 just wasn't as fast as it was. And I would love to have Race to the Finish again. Just all these little slight mini games that they used to have and were just fun little stupid little things. They don't have that anymore. It just makes me sad because they kind of missed the point of the funness of arcade mode and adventure mode that used to be there for Melee, and they just kind of got rid of in Brawl for Subspace, and just I do not fully hate Subspace Emissary, but it was too long. It was too long for what it did. And what I would want instead is kind of like, let's have each character go through their own little journey. So it's like their own little mini Subspace Emissary. They meet up with someone, you have a little cutscene right there or something. Kind of like how Street Fighter 4 does with its rivals and whatnot, but it's kind of like more on Ando with just like Subspace Emissary, like where Fox meets Peach and all that, and just like, just kind of cool stuff right there. I would love to have that as its own little, like, every individual person has their own story, their own thing that happens, that they go face the big final boss at the end. And each individual person only has like a set amount. Like, it's gonna take a heck of a lot longer to beat the whole entire thing, but you can kind of see like the whole entire story unfold and see like cutscenes and whatnot. Like, that ideally to me is what I want to happen, like, for Smash Switch, is just get this nice little blend of Subspace Emissary and Adventure together and just make it something a little bit better, because Adventure mode was always just slightly longer than arcade mode for a number of reasons, but they had a lot of unique assets to it and whatnot, and I would love to have something akin to what Adventure did, but what Subspace also did, where they have all these characters meet together and just try to beat this big bad, not just one person goes through like the whole entire Nintendo universe, which was cool. Like, that's the whole reason why Adventure was so well received as a mode in Melee. But I would really, really love to see it as a mismatch of ideas, and I feel like that's the best way they could do it if and when they bring it back. Another thing that's kind of got me like going about the whole entire, like, you know, this is cool about Smash 4, but is the whole entirety of just these neutral stages, the Omega version stages, just being this flat surface. And it hurts me as someone that tries to be as competitive as possible, because a lot of people, for some reason or another, think that Final Destination is the truest neutral stage in Smash, and that's just not the case. There's a lot of reasons to why that isn't the case, but a lot of it has to do with my opponents further away from me, so zone characters get to have free pot shots and whatnot. Like, if they're gonna make Omega stages again, which I hope they do, this was a very good idea, just not executed well, is just make the stages a little bit more plain. And by that, just have like one panel, one little like upper part, so someone could help approach the other character better, or just like have one side like slightly like larger than the other side, so there's like a high ground or something. Just something to where there's no hazards. Like, for a large part of why a lot of stages aren't played competitively in Melee, Brawl, Smash 4 is because of the hazards. And while I like the hazards for just some good old-fashioned standard romping, the fact of the matter is, when you want to get serious down and out and settle in Smash, you don't want those hazards to destroy you. You don't want that. You want to just be able to, like, have to go to like different areas and situations and just have this terrain that's slightly different but on a kind of neutral level, and that would be nice. Even if they did it to where like Battlefield and Final Destination were the two go-tos for Omega stages, like you either on a stage just like Final Destination or a stage like Battlefield. That would be a vast improvement to just, let's make everything Final Destination. Let's make everything flat and boring. And that's just, it doesn't hold a candle to what they could do. And it's sad because, like, Dreamland is, like, one of the most true neutral stages of all. Like, that legitimately enough. And that has, like, a wind hazard. That's the weirdest thing to me. But it's just like, why? Why not just make something like Dreamland again? Where just, you have those three little things and, like, something, like, doing just, like, a slight thing every now and again. It would be nice. It would be very nice to have it, but we'll see, I guess, but that's what I want. Now, to a lot of people, this may seem like a super nitpick, but as far as I'm concerned, it's not, because the way that it was handled. And that's, all the special modes were specifically put into a custom melee, and in that custom melee, you could turn it to like, have to where you have like all these mini mushrooms, or you get super tiny, or you have a certain amount of stamina to it, things like that. Just like small little things that you could change within the match. It could be super crazy. Everyone had like flowers on their heads, things like that, but they just kind of screwed it up. And that's like the worst thing to me that they did in the transition from Melee to Brawl, was make it so the special modes that you had, the tiny Melee, the giant Melee, all these little things like camera Melee and things like that, were just gone. It was just absolutely positively gone. And just like, why would you get rid of something so fun and so interesting and just kind of make it into this like dull little thing where I have to make it? If I have to make my own fun, then it's kind of like, it ruins the purpose of you having the mode together. It really just kind of does. And on top of that, the special modes also have their own little physics to them. They had it to where you could get even tinier, or you could get even bigger than what was anticipated with those giant mushrooms and whatnot. And maybe I didn't see this fully in Brawl or Smash 4 because, in all honesty, I don't use the custom mode. I just don't care enough. There's not enough to be like, hey, do you guys want to like set your options to custom and then let's go ahead and add these little things to it, instead of just dropping into the mode and going like, we're playing Tiny Melee, and everyone's going like, yeah, it was Tiny Melee. Like, that is so easy to do, but when you make it to where like, I gotta set all these modes and go through every single one and make sure everything is properly charted, it just doesn't work. It's not nearly as fun or exciting in comparison to this, like, let's drop into this mode and play it. And it makes me sad because it's such a small little, neat little thing that happens, and like, honestly, it's provided me with tons of entertainment with my friends, and it makes me sad that things go on that way, and just like, why? But considering everything, I guess the major point that I'm trying to make here is that Melee had a lot of unique things about it, not just its like, let's have this and this, but you know, we'll make it so it kind of like works together and they're kind of the same thing, like in Brawl does and like in Smash 4 does. See, with Melee, the events themselves were really cool. They had like certain assets that just were never used as a stage. They were just this one little thing. Like, I still remember the Majora's Mask stage, and it was kind of weird because like, you don't get to play that stage ever again. It's just in that one little event. And it certainly will take longer to actually make, but I feel like that's the point of these events. And it makes me sad that a lot of these events that Melee started, they're just kind of not as magical in comparison to Brawls and Smash 4s. And then a lot of it that has to do with just, they're not unique, they're not in the situation where you have to keep going with things, or there's not like a lot of set of rules here. It's just kind of stuff that you could personally do, like protect somebody, defeat these two in under a certain time limit, avoid getting hit. It feels a lot more mediocre and dull in comparison to what Melee brought to the table. And by all means, you can call me nostalgic about this in all ways to Sunday. I never really had fun with Brawl or Smash 4's events. I did have a ton of fun with Melee's events. I think there was something a little bit more magical to them, more uniqueness to them, and I don't necessarily want there to be 120 events. Like, just keep it to where Melee had it. Melee had it to where it was like 51 events. I'm like, hey, that's cool. I could do 51 different events. Keep it small. If you keep things smaller, if you make these events more interesting, the whole entire thing becomes more interesting. But as like an added little extra thing of, hey, I want some more things for like Smash Switch, I do feel like they're missing out on some potential when it comes to adding locations of non-fighter Nintendo characters. And what I mean by that is stuff like Electroplankton and whatnot. They just don't have nearly as much as they could, and I feel like they just need to add more to it. Because when people see these stages come on, they're like, whose stage does this belong to? Whose stage belongs to this guy? Who belongs to this? Like, the whole reason why anyone knows who Ness is because he appeared in 64 just kind of randomly. And the same could be said for the stages. There's certain stages that are just like, Electroplankton? What is this? It's subtle marketing, and I just don't understand why they don't do it nearly as much as they could do it. And having things like Captain Toad's stages, or like a Clue Clue Land, or even like Captain Rainbow of all people, would be so nice to like, has a subtle like, we can't make this character. We can't justify making this character into a fighter either because it's not popular enough or anything like that, but let's give fans of that, fans of something that's like Nintendo, and we'll make it into a stage. I feel like that is probably the most important thing that they could go do when it comes to adding new things to Smash on the Switch. Bring the Ice Climbers back. God dang it, dude. Bring the Ice Climbers back. Free them. It was all because of stupid 3DS that the Ice Climber's gonna come back. And Sakurai clearly quoted that he just like, oh, the 3DS won't affect any character's like ability to get in because we could render all of them this way. And then the Ice Climbers was just like, hey, buddy, what happened? And just like, LOL, JK, and just, my Ice Climber buddies are gone. Like, I never really used them, but my friend did. And he had all these stupid little things that he did with it and everything. It makes me sad that they're no longer here. I want that back. Well, until next time, everybody. Tell me what you would like to see in terms of all the single-player campaign stuff and all the neat little features and whatnot. And then I'll see you next time for my characters that I want in Smash for the Switch. Ayo! Sayonara! Bye-bye!